It's been a hot minute since we've talked Halo on the channel, and that's not really surprising. I can only make so many videos about Halo Infinite, and I don't want to crap on Halo either. I've got a deep, deep love for the universe, which has not went away. It's just currently hibernating, and I feel like that is the case for a lot of people. It's been hard because not only have we got disappointing or bad news, whether regarding the Halo TV show or Halo Infinite numbers, we've just at times got no news, like at the most recent Xbox showcase where we got nothing. I think my friend Hidden Xperia's facial expressions kind of painted the picture for a lot of us. Still, as we'll discuss in today's video, I do think there is some hope on the horizon, and I've seen a lot of people start to get back on the positivity train for a number of reasons. So we'll go into that. All right, so let's start with the competitive scene. It's no secret that 343, now Halo Studios, wanted Infinite to have a big competitive presence, and I think the game was actually well situated for it. Some of you may remember I actually hosted a Halo Infinite tournament shortly after the game's release, and they put a ton of money into HCS and the various Halo competitions under that banner. However, we learned recently that October will see the last Halo Infinite champion crowned. There will still be smaller HCS events, but according to Tashi on Halo Waypoint, as the studio continues to shift more and more towards the next era of Halo, we feel this is the right time for official HCS competition to move on from Halo Infinite. Year 4 will be the final official HCS events for Halo Infinite, and now is your last chance to be a part of this momentous chapter of Halo esports history. So the good news here is that if they're moving on from Halo Infinite, presumably the next Halo game is not as far away as some feared, perhaps 2027. But we also know specifically that HCS is not only moving on from Infinite as a competitive mainstay, it's also teasing the next Halo experience. Earlier this year, Tashi said the following: "Last year at Halo WC, we premiered A New Dawn, where we talked about the switch to Unreal Engine, gave you a behind-the-scenes look at Project Foundry, and debuted our evolution to Halo Studios as we enter a new chapter for Halo. For us, A New Dawn was just the beginning. At this year's Halo World Championship, we look forward to continuing the conversation. Speculation is always fun, but if you want the official scoop on what Halo Studios has been working on, you won't want to miss this year's Halo World Championship. We really hope you'll join us in Seattle this October." So that is quite exciting. We will get at least an idea of what the next Halo experience looks like, whether that is most likely a new mainline game, perhaps a remake, although I do think a remake of Halo 3 probably does exist, or a remaster, but will be released alongside whatever new is coming out. Either way, it's clear that Halo needs a reset. The competitive scene needs a reset. They need to move to Unreal Engine 5. And more importantly, what they need is a clear studio direction. Halo Infinite, some of you may forget, actually launched with a ton of excitement. The main downside was 343 was incredibly slow in doing anything for the game. And in this modern era of live service video games, that's just not going to play. People expect new maps, new game modes, new weapons in multiplayer games, and Infinite was also hurt by the fact that really it launched with less content than even the Xbox era Halo games, really. Now, that's largely been made up for. I think Halo Infinite is in a good spot now, but with games like this, you have one chance to make an impression, and that's it. I do also think that Halo stands to benefit from the, honestly, misfortunes of Xbox. Let's be honest, Xbox is not where it should be. Halo has been tied to the console for its entire life. That has naturally somewhat limited the population, even as Infinite moved to PC. It's very likely, I think, the next Halo game releases multi-platform, and that should be a big benefit to the player population, and thus the development resources and income for the game. And also, I think, just keeping hype and excitement up. The more people playing the game, the better. A bunch of PlayStation users will probably be jumping on Halo for the first time as Infinite launches. 10 years, it would have been hard to believe I'm saying this. Certainly in 2006, 2007, it would have been unimaginable, but I mean, Gears of War Reloaded is releasing on the PS5. Just today, as I was recording this video, I thought to look whether anything about MCC had leaked, and right now, apparently a PlayStation-compatible Halo game was found in a new data mine. But either way, Microsoft says basically everything is an Xbox. It's going to happen, and I'm personally happy the console wars seem to be slowing down, at least between PlayStation and Xbox. Anyway, keep that in mind. We will be coming back to that in a second. 2nd. There is right now a lot of hype for those still playing Halo Infinite. Operation Shadows drops. It includes the Carbine, the Falcon, a new battle pass, some updates to Forage. Overall, just really good stuff to see in the game, even though, you know, it is definitely near the end of Halo Infinite's life cycle. Honestly, I'm still shocked we're still getting updates of this magnitude. But fans are also quite excited over two big integrations Halo has right now. Currently, there's a Fortnite event featuring Spartans. Won't pretend I'm super familiar with that. However, the news that dropped today, the far more exciting news in my opinion, is that the most obvious collaboration of all time is finally happening, as Helldivers seems to be getting a Halo 3 ODST tie-in. So far, we've seen a bit of New Mombasa with the classic Halo 3 ODST saxophone music. There's also been a few ARG things like the Superintendent's signal hidden backwards. And I mean, that specifically is one of the benefits of the console war ending. I suspect the majority of you know this, but for those who don't, Helldivers 2 is a Sony published game. It released last year on PlayStation and PC, but is only now, actually, it's not even out yet, it's later in August, coming to Xbox. No way this collaboration happens if Microsoft and Sony still have their walls up. And honestly, I'm just really interested to see how deep this integration goes. Will we see a New Mombasa style planet or city that generates on certain planets? I doubt it, but we'll definitely be getting some cool ODST drop pods, maybe some weapons like the silenced MMG or a Spartan laser. Helldivers 2, in my opinion, is one of the cooler games out there, so very excited to play this integration. I will definitely be streaming some of it either here on X2 or somewhere else. All right, just to end this, there's a lot giving me hope as a Halo fan. The MCC is turned around. I think Halo Infinite is also in a good place right now, despite its terrible launch. But one thing that I'm really looking to is a case study in returning back from the dead, and that is Battlefield 6. Battlefield 6 just launched its open beta this past weekend. It was massive. I think on Steam alone, there were over 700,000 people playing the game. There was a queue to get in. You were having to wait minutes just to even open the game's menu. Battlefield is a game which has had some poorly received entries. It's had some games which have really struggled with player population. I think if a Battlefield game returning to its roots and doing what Battlefield is known to do successfully can do well without having to rely on gimmicks or whatever else, I think there is hope for the next Halo experience. Halo, despite its fall from grace, still holds a lot of cultural sway in my opinion. I think especially the older games, so hopefully whatever the next Halo experience is has a chance to recapture some of the magic, but of course it needs to launch properly. That's the most important thing. It needs to launch properly, it needs to get updates, and it needs to be consumer friendly. Those are my thoughts though. Of course, let me know yours down below. Long live Halo.